What if the one sentence that could destroy your chance at love was also the sentence that finally taught someone how to truly see you? What if a single careless word spoken over coffee accidentally unlocked the door to the most unexpected understanding of a lifetime? This is the story of the moment a man thought he was protecting himself, only to discover he was the one who needed saving. The words slipped from his lips quicker than he could reel them back, blunt and unthinking like a stone skipped across a still pond, sending ripples that distorted everything beneath the surface. The quiet that descended was denser than the wooden booth they occupied. In the cozy diner, he had reclined against the vinyl seat, legs stretched out casually, gaze wandering to the rain-streaked window, pretending his remark was just a casual opinion, no more consequential than preferring black coffee over cream. Opposite him, her hands curled a fraction tighter around the steaming mug of herbal tea, not dramatically, not visibly to him, but enough to betray a narrative of composure forged in fire, of mastering the art of containing sorrow without letting it overflow. In that instant, a raw and unkind truth had been laid bare. And if you've ever felt your entire existence boiled down to a single, uninvited tag from your history, you understand how the room can suddenly feel smaller, how your breath catches while your expression remains serene. What would you have done perched there, as your journey was diminished to a stereotype you never claimed? Her name was Sophia Reynolds, and she had shown up 10 minutes ahead, as was her habit, because experience had shown her that haste only amplified heartache. She had chosen a simple green blouse that evoked the freshness of spring leaves, not to dazzle anyone but to anchor herself in a sense of renewal. Seated across from her was Ethan Caldwell, a marketing consultant from a bustling suburb nearby. He carried himself with the easy assurance of someone whose path had been mostly smooth, unburdened by the weight of profound trials. Their exchange started on neutral ground: jobs, favorite local spots, the predictable icebreakers of initial encounters. It all seemed navigable until the dialogue meandered, as it inevitably does, into the realm of yesterdays, of former loves, of the unseen baggage that shadows every new beginning. That's when he uttered it nonchalantly, with a faint wave of his hand, stating he avoided dating divorcees, as if it equated to skipping horror movies or steering clear of city traffic. Sophia didn't cut him off. She didn't launch into a defense or a clarification, for loss had instilled in her that arguments seldom sway minds already barricaded. She had been divorced for 5 years, though she never led with that label. She had once been a devoted partner to a compassionate man named Ryan, who cherished lazy weekends exploring, hiking trails and tinkering with vintage cars in their garage. Their marriage hadn't been a fairy tale or flawless, but it had been authentic and grounding. When a sudden betrayal shattered it all in under a year, Ryan's hidden affair unraveling like a poorly tied knot, it left an echo of emptiness that lingered in quiet corners. Sophia had adapted to that void, weaving it into her routine, learning to laugh genuinely, to dream without desperation. Now in this moment she sensed that familiar pang awaken, not from Ethan's dismissal per se, but from how effortlessly he invalidated a chapter that had sculpted her resilience. Ethan, meanwhile, convinced himself he was merely transparent. That candor trumped facade. He rationalized that divorcees bore invisible scars, echoes of old commitments that might eclipse any fresh bond. He overlooked how his statement wasn't impartial observation, but a verdict born of apprehension. Apprehension of inadequacy, apprehension of being an afterthought, apprehension of wounds he'd never personally endured. He stole a peek at Sophia, seeing her steady demeanor, and presumed she was unruffled. He was oblivious to the fact that true fortitude often manifests as tranquility, or that some souls master the art of internalizing anguish without broadcasting it. The pivot didn't erupt in a spectacle. It arrived subtly, as genuine insights frequently do, sneaking in when ego averts its gaze. As they lingered, a young artist at the adjacent counter fumbled with a stack of sketchbooks and canvases, a stray pencil rolling under their table, while her phone buzzed incessantly with what sounded like urgent notifications. The artist muttered apologies to the air, her expression a mix of frustration and vulnerability, and Sophia rose without hesitation, retrieving the pencil and helping reorganize the supplies with a warm, knowing grin. Ethan observed as Sophia knelt briefly, engaging the artist in a brief chat about her work, her tone infused with genuine curiosity that eased the stranger's tension. The artist shared a quick laugh, revealing a snippet of her latest piece, a vibrant abstract inspired by urban chaos, and for a fleeting second, something in Ethan stirred. A whisper of intrigue he couldn't yet name, wondering what hidden depths allowed Sophia to connect so seamlessly with a complete unknown. They resettled, and the talk stumbled onward, now laced with an undercurrent of unease yet persistent. Sophia opened up about her role at a non-profit art gallery in the heart of Portland, curating exhibits for emerging talents and hosting workshops for at-risk youth, discovering fulfillment in creativity when her original blueprint for life had dissolved. She omitted her divorce from the narrative. It wasn't necessary. Ethan tuned in, really. Tuned in this time, captivated by the subtle command in her words, the way she described art not as mere decoration, but as a bridge for healing fractured spirits. He experienced a budding unease, the sort that emerges when your preconceptions fracture like brittle glass. He had anticipated a divorcee to be guarded, weighed down by bitterness. But Sophia embodied something profound, a curiosity about the world that didn't seek sympathy, but invited exploration. That night, after a courteous goodbye, Ethan navigated the winding roads back to his apartment in Seattle, the skyline aglow with twilight hues. His thoughts churned restlessly. He dissected the evening, zeroing in on the instant his comment hung in the air. The subtle shift in her gaze, not fury but a poignant grace. He reflected on his own unchallenged existence, how it had glided along without major upheavals, leaving him ill-equipped to empathize with divergent paths. Adding to the intrigue, as he pulled into his driveway, he noticed an old, forgotten letter in his mailbox from a distant relative he hadn't spoken to in years, hinting at family secrets long buried, stirring a curiosity that mirrored the artist's tale from the diner. The unexpected twist came later that evening with a phone call that upended his complacency. His sister had been in a minor car accident, nothing life-threatening, but enough to rattle the family, requiring him to rush to the emergency room where she was being treated for a sprained ankle and bruises. Ethan spent the night in the sterile waiting area, observing couples consoling each other, parents soothing frightened kids, glimpsing the delicate webs of human connection. For the first time, he tasted a sliver of the vulnerability he'd always sidestepped, his mind wandering to the artist's chaotic sketches and how they might symbolize life's unpredictable strokes. In the ensuing days, Ethan found his thoughts drifting to Sophia repeatedly. He pondered her effortless aid to the stranger, her attentive ear without self-promotion, how she wielded her history not as a shield, but as a canvas for new strokes. He came to see that his aversion wasn't to divorce per se, but to his own aversion to complexity, his reluctance to confront that authentic bonds always flirt with uncertainty. Dodging that reality didn't shield him. It merely rendered him superficial. He began to grasp that divorcees weren't relics of failure, but survivors who had navigated turmoil deeply enough to emerge with enriched perspectives, often sparking a curiosity about life's hidden layers. 2 weeks on, Ethan messaged her, uncertain of the outcome, only sure that inaction felt like surrender. Sophia consented to another meeting, not for reassurance, but because she championed second chances and the spark of growth. This time they strolled along the waterfront trails in Seattle's Discovery Park, the breeze crisp and expansive, a setting where words flowed freer, unconfined by walls. Ethan didn't gloss over his misstep. He shared candidly about his fears, the hospital vigil, the enigmatic family letter that had ignited his own quest for understanding buried truths. Sophia absorbed it all not as a critic, but as one who recognized that evolution sprouts from unease. Their rapport didn't blossom into whirlwind passion, nor did it have to. What evolved was subtler, more enduring. Ethan discovered that empathy isn't universal consensus, but revering narratives beyond your own. Sophia reaffirmed that her experiences didn't require diminishment to accommodate others' comfort. They progressed, subtly transformed. Evidence that a solitary, thoughtless phrase can ignite profound insight when curiosity and humility converge. If this tale resonated with you, prompting introspection on a hasty judgment you made or endured, feel free to voice your reflections in the comments below. And if it genuinely moved you, kindly think about liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing so more narratives of empathy, hidden depths, and subtle awakenings can reach those who need them.